Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I want to share with you the go-to makeup look I've been doing like the whole past 6 months that I've been off of YouTube. So I mentioned in my first video back on my channel, which I will link down below and up in the corner, that I'm trying to, with this refresh of my channel, trying to also just stay more authentic and true to my own personal makeup style, not kind of fall into the traps of feeling like I have to do like social media makeup in order to be on social media. So I thought I would show you all what I've been doing for my makeup at the time when I'm not on social media. So really, this is the look. I'm going to show you all of the steps and talk you through the products. But the main overarching focus here really is just that I'm wearing a lot less makeup, much higher focus on just like my natural skin, and then really only using products that I truly, absolutely adore and think perform really, really well. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the primer that I've been using most often if I'm using a primer. I'm really only using a primer this winter, like when it's really dry outside and my skin just needs that added moisture before makeup. And in that case, I've been using my Catrice Prime and Fine Aqua Fresh Hydro Primer. This has different packaging now, but they still sell it, so I will link the new one down below. I really love this primer. It just is, it's really just hydration, honestly. It honestly might as well be a moisturizer in my opinion. I could just store a moisturizer down here and it would do the same thing, but this one does soak in and dry down really quick, and it's more of that like gel consistency, whereas most of my moisturizers, because I have dry skin, are really thick and creamy. So this is actually a pretty nice like just refresh for my skin before I add makeup if it's been a while since I've done my skincare. After that step, or if I skip primer, the first step, I have been going in essentially every single time with my bareMinerals Prime Time BB Primer Blur thing. I don't think they sell this anymore, which is a bummer. If they do, I have the shade Light. I'll try to link it if I can find it, but I don't think they sell it anymore. And it's just an outstanding product. It has a little bit of sunscreen, so it's a nice additional sunscreen layer if I'm gonna be outside. It's really, really nice. But the main thing here for me, you'll see in the footage, is that it's just really nice light coverage, basically not there. It's super sheer, and it just evens my skin tone enough that I feel confident not wearing foundation all over my face. And that's basically been my goal. It's just more comfortable for me. I really like it. I think I'm gonna have to look into more barely there products like this in the upcoming year. This is really the only one I have that does this, and I just heard my heat kick on, so I will turn that off so there's not background noise, but I really only have this that does this, so I've been using it nonstop, and I really think I'd enjoy having a couple of options in my collection. So I might look into some things like this in the future, or I might just start using my normal complexion products and mixing them in with a like primer or something like that to sheer them out more often, because I just haven't been into full coverage lately. All right, heat is back off. Sorry about that distraction. After I do that super sheer layer of that bareMinerals product, I do like to go in and conceal just a couple spots specifically. And for that, I've either been using my Merit Minimalist Stick I have the shade Dune, or I have been using my Colourpop Pretty Fresh concealer, and I have the shade Light 40N. Today I did use the Colourpop concealer. It's just really nice and creamy. It's about a light to medium coverage. It's not super high coverage, so I think it goes well with the kind of lighter base that I've got going on. And I specifically am concealing under my eyes, a little on my forehead because I tend to be a little more red there, and then a little on my chin. Same reason, I'm just a little bit more red there, so I feel more comfortable with a little bit more coverage. Those are also the areas that aren't going to be really covered by any other makeup product on my face moving forward, so I don't mind adding that like additional layer, because I think it still looks nice and like skin once I've added that layer. I'm not putting any concealer on like the perimeters of my forehead or my cheeks or anything, because I'm going to put blush, bronzer, things like that there, and I just don't feel like I need the additional layer of coverage first. Just to note, I have been putting concealer up onto my eyelids just a little bit to kind of color correct there as well. And then after I have blended all of that concealer out, I am going in with my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder very sparingly. Truly only under my eyes and then on my eyelids to kind of set that concealer in place so it doesn't crease in the places where my skin naturally folds. So that's really all I'm using the powder for these days. I haven't been powdering my whole face. mostly because it's winter and I have dry skin. And I haven't even been powdering the other parts of my face with concealer on them. It just hasn't been necessary, so I haven't done it. Then I've been going in with bronzer, blush, and highlight, and I do still love to do all three of those steps. I know some people skip some of those steps, and that's totally, totally fine. It's just one of my favorite parts of my makeup routine, so I still do it, even though I think this makeup look would look this makeup look would look completely fine if I only had like one or two of those, or even just maybe a blush or something, right? I think it would look completely fine. So, you know, do what you like here, but I love all three. And I have really consistently been reaching into pretty much nothing but my Salt New York palette here, just because it's all in one spot. I don't really have to think about it. And I've got some really good winter blush shades in here. So it's been really nice this time of year. So I have their bronzer product in light medium. I have the highlighter in beige, and then I have two blushes. This one's called Spice and this one's called Cranberry. And today I'm wearing Spice and these two up here as well. So I do still love highlighter. I know some people are saying it's like kind of not trendy right now, but I love it. I just love having glow on my face. So I don't know if I'll ever skip highlighter altogether or kind of go to a everyday routine or, you know, low-key makeup routine that doesn't include highlighter. I just absolutely adore it. So that's been my cheek go-to really basically all of the time. For brows, I've basically never been filling them in. I have just been going in with a brow gel. Today I used my e.l.f. Wow Brow. I've been using this one a lot because I'm trying to use it up. It's my oldest one in my collection. I have the shade Taupe in case you're curious. I usually just go through with like 1 or 2 coats depending on how strong of a brow I'm wanting that day. And that's really it. That's the whole brow situation. For lips, I have been pretty much consistently using one of a few options. And today I think is a really good example of kind of how it almost always turns out. So I usually have been using more of a brown tone, nude toned lip liner. Today I use my Thrive Causemetics Kackie lip liner. It's just a really good kind of neutral brown, really, really great. And I've then been topping that with just some sort of slick sheer lip product. So sometimes it means going back into the blush I used from the Salt New York palette, because those blushes actually work really nicely on the lips too. So if I want something super monochromatic, I've been doing that pretty often. Oftentimes it's like just a tinted chapstick and that's been working great. But today I used my Merit tinted lip oil in the shade Taupe. This has been by far the most common thing I've used. Just really love this color, especially this time of year. It's just kind of a desaturated tone that I think looks really beautiful on my lips, no matter what else I'm wearing or what else I've got going on. So this is sort of my like thoughtless option, is like if I don't want to think about what's going to look nice with my shirt that day or whatever, this is what I reach for. And then last but not least, our eyes. And honestly, about half the time I've been doing nothing but mascara. So I would just leave my eyelids with just the concealer layer that sort of blanked them out, made them look a little more consistently toned, and the powder on top so it's nice and set. And then I just do a coat of a very, very light coat of mascara. If I do that look, oftentimes I'm using my Thrive lash extensions, liquid lash extensions mascara in brown. It's the shade, it's called Crystal, but it's a brown mascara just because it looks so nice against like bare lids. I love it, I love it. But today I put on a little bit because this has sort of been like my next step up look. I have basically just been picking like any mid-tone matte in my entire collection. Today I used my Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette, and I used this sort of like khaki shade right here. This is maybe even like a tone darker than most of what I've been wearing, but I thought it looked nice in my outer corners, and it's sort of a greenish color to go with my shirt. So I was feeling the vibes today, but usually it's just like a plain color. Oftentimes it's even like a powder bronzer. If I don't care about the longevity of my makeup, I sometimes even do like the Salt New York bronzer, which is a cream, and it doesn't really hold up well in like my creasy eyelids, but I have done it a few times, and it's good for like short-term makeup. And then the other thing that I've been doing, if I do the matte shade, oftentimes I'm also going in specifically to my Colourpop Super Shock shadow in the shade Amaze and tapping it across my lids. So that's what I did today. I just barely tap it across in a really, really super light layer. And then I add oftentimes a black mascara instead. I feel like it just stands out a little bit more against the colorful eyeshadows, or it's not just my plain lid color in the background. So I feel black looks a little bit better. And this time around, I used the Merit lengthening lash in Perfect Black, lengthening mascara, excuse me, in Perfect Black. So that's basically the whole look. The eyes really do vary the most, I would say, out of all of this. Everything else has been 99% of the time exact products I just showed you and exact techniques I just showed you. The eyes really are just, whatever matte color I'm feeling. Super Shock if I'm feeling like I want sparkle, or just nothing, and some brown mascara has been a go-to for me as well. So yeah, that's the look. Relatively simple, straightforward. Honestly, you could probably recreate this with products you already have if you have like a reasonable size makeup collection. Nothing here is like you must have the exact product I used. I think it's just really about getting that sheer base, concealing where you want that extra coverage. For me, it's a whole cheek look. It's all 3 products on my cheeks that I would normally use, and then simple lips and eyes, and that's kind of it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try out some different techniques this year. I think it can just be fun to play with your makeup in different ways as well. A lot of these products are things that I used to use a very specific way, and now I'm thinking about them completely differently. So I hope you are inspired to try something different with the makeup you already own as well this year. And I hope to see you next time around on my channel as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.